I'm Mags Gaulden, and this is the magic of adding your WikiTree ID to your family tree DNA profile. Family Tree DNA announced this collaboration back in June of 2025. It's easy to make the connection as long as you are a WikiTree member and have a Family Tree DNA account. So let's navigate to your WikiTree ID and then over across the page to your ID. If you click on that ID, it'll automatically copy that to your clipboard. Now we're going to navigate back over to Family Tree DNA, to your dashboard. In the upper right-hand corner, your name. If you click on your name, it'll bring up a drop-down menu where you can click on Account Settings. That'll take you over to the Account Settings pages. And you're going to navigate over to the Genealogy tab and the Family Tree tab below that. Scroll down to the bottom of the page where it says how to connect your WikiTree ID to your mtDNA profile. Place your cursor on the line and paste your WikiTree ID. Pretty easy, pretty simple. Now let's go over and see this in action. If you go back to your Family Tree DNA dashboard, you can click on Family Finder, Y-DNA, mitochondrial DNA matches. You can look to the right and you'll see a series of little icons. We're interested in the icon that looks like a little pedigree. If it's solid blue, that means that that pedigree has information in it. If you click on it, it'll give you another drop-down box, where in this case, it'll offer either an archive tree if you have one, or a WikiTree tree. Click on that, and it'll take you straight to WikiTree, to the family tree of that match. Now, this is not exactly that match, but close enough. We're going to call him Bubba. So this is Bubba Gaulden's WikiTree tree. It's his connection to what is the global family tree of WikiTree, where one person for one profile that ever lived in the world. So you can go to WikiTree and type in a name, and hopefully you'll only find one profile for that person. There's a lot of information that you can glean just from this tree, like DNA that follows the male line. Now we want to continue the male line, so we're going to click on this little blue arrow, and it's going to take us back one more generation, and we'll be able to see the DNA trail back all the way to the most common recent ancestor for a DNA confirmation citation. This DNA confirmed status is a status that you can set for profiles, but you have to have a DNA confirmation citation within the profile to show how you actually came to that. In this case, two big Y testers who were very distantly related in the STR level have done testing and have come up with the exact same SNP. So that's really cool. You can also see that the parent of John Matthew Gaulden doesn't have a DNA confirmed checkmark, but he is a confident genealogical paper trail because the due diligence has been done with sources and information to connect John Matthew Gaulden with his father, John Gaulden. If we go back to the most common recent ancestor, John Matthew Gaulden Sr., and we click on his name, it'll take us to the profile for John Matthew Gaulden Sr. New Kent County, Virginia. You can see when he died and where he lived. You can see his family grouping in this information down here. You can also, in this tab menu, see that there are 16 DNA connections to John Matthew Gaulden. Well, WikiTree does things a little bit differently than most other companies. WikiTree actually places living DNA testers' information on the earliest known profiles or the ancestors' profiles for that DNA tester. So we see the 16 connections for John Matthew Gaulden Sr. We can see also all the appropriate cousins profiles, and all the ancestors are populated with the information that these testers input. And it goes on for all 16 of these testers. Here we go down to that page and then down to the next one. You can also do some other things straight from the profile page, like find the relationship between the tester on the profile and the profile. And here it is. You see the DNA connections going back, as well as the paper trail connection going back. If you want to check any of the paper trail information, the genealogy for these profiles, just click on the name and you can do it. You can also see the DNA test information. You can see that Earl has taken a FamilyTreeDNA Y-DNA test, 700 markers. You can also see down here that Earl has taken a FamilyTreeDNA Family Finder test. There's also other people listed. You can also compare DNA tests by clicking the DNA Compare button at third-party DNA sites. You can see a list of X-DNA ancestors as well. You can see the percentage that this person would have inherited from that. So if this is my dad, I would have inherited 50%. I inherit 50% from his mom. I inherit 25% from his grandfather, and so on and so forth. You can also see that there's DNA confirmation statements on some of these profiles as well. And you can see ways that you can see the ancestors or the descendants for these individuals as well. From that profile, you can also check out the DNA Ancestor Confirmation Aid. Now, this is something that you can do on WikiTree, and we've talked about it already in that pedigree, where you can see the information for the DNA tested connections that have been confirmed with DNA. And you can also find ancestor information and lists of cousins that have tested for further research. You can also, going to the tab from those pages, check the surnames for DNA testers. You can check all the different spellings. And here's what that list looks like. Gives you the ancestor, the type of test that the person has taken that is on that, and you can see the different people that have tested. These are all living testers on WikiTree, and they enter this information, and it can be publicly displayed. There's also DNA Group Projects, the community-minded brainchild of mtDNA. Well, what does that have to do with me connecting to WikiTree from FamilyTreeDNA with my ID? Well, I'm going to show you. Here's the Templeton DNA Group Project. And here's the DNA Templeton match list for my Templeton lines. And you can see that there's all sorts of Templetons. This is from the DNA Group Project, and it shows all of these Templetons. You can also get all the sciencey stuff, those SNPs and STRs, those mutations, and you can jump right into the DNA Group Projects from there. We can show you what we're looking at on WikiTree. It's a place where you can add pedigrees. You can connect to WikiTree's trees, and also you can add information about different types of research that's being done in a name study in conjunction with the DNA Group Project. You can have discussions. You can help ferret out mysteries with charts and graphs and tables, which this one is, and it helped me identify my Templetons from Island McGee, Ireland. I can explain what's going on with the DNA work by having different information. There's a bunch of Templetons that are from Ireland. There's a bunch of Templetons that are from Scotland. And all along, we thought we were Scots-Irish Templetons, but we're not. We are Irish Scots Templetons. So I can have an essay written by a leading Templeton researcher that he added himself to WikiTree, where he posted in-depth write-ups where that are now freely available to anybody. Even if you don't have a WikiTree membership, you can see this write-up about the Darida tribe and all of my Irish Templetons. That brings us back to that magic. We don't have enough time to get into all of the magic of this collaboration, like xDNA probability trees, DNA confirmation citation maker. I don't know how many of you sit down and write down DNA confirmation citations, but there's an app for that on WikiTree. DNA fan charts to show you how people have inherited different patterns of DNA. One named trees with DNA, the 6 Degree app that actually shows endogamous relationships within a family line, and DNA surname links to EKAs, to earliest known ancestor. Tell you what, FamilyTreeDNA plus WikiTree, for me, that equals absolute magic. I'm Mags Gaulden. Thanks for watching.